Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have already given you 2 parts on Zulqarnain's space travel. Today is the 3rd part in the series. This narration is reported by Ibn Ishaq, Ibn al-Mundhar, Ibn Abi Hatim, and al-Shirazi in the book Al-Alqab, and Abu Shaykh also reported from Wahab ibn Munabbah. He said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Zulqarnain when he became an adult. And as an adult, he was a very pious person. Sometimes people mistake Zulqarnain for Alexander the Great. Zulqarnain was a monotheist, believed in one God, where Alexander the Great was not a monotheist. So Zulqarnain and Alexander the Great are not the same people. Anyway, when Zulqarnain grew up, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him that, Ya Zulqarnain, I will send you towards several nations on the earth. Now, this particular statement is very unique in its nature. Was Zulqarnain out of the planet Earth that Allah told him that, Ya Zulqarnain, I will send you towards several nations on earth? Because when he is already in earth, the word earth does not need to be said in a statement. I would send you towards several nations was more than enough. So that statement in this narration is quite interesting. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started telling him about the ummahs, the nations towards Zulqarnain will be sent. These ummahs are spread out such that you will find one of them in the east and you will find the other one in the west. You will find one in the north and you will find one in the south. They're spread all over the earth. And then you will be sent towards an ummah that you will find in the Middle Earth. You will run into humans, you will run into jinns, and you will run into Ya'juj and Ma'juj. The ummah that is to be found in the west is called Fasik, and the one that is to be found in the east is called Mansak. And the one that you will find in the North Pole is Hawil, and the one that you would find in the South Pole is Qawil. Zulqarnain said, O Allah, you are sending me towards a great cause. However, I need special help from you because I am unaware of the powers of these nations. So please help me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him wisdom. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him means to travel towards these people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him power to speak eloquently, gave him power to understand and comprehend, and gave him strength. And towards the end, he was given 2 special powers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, for you there is light, and for you there is darkness. Through the light and the darkness, these are your 2 powers, you will be able to overcome any nation that you come across. These 2 will be your army. Nur, which is light, will be ahead of you, and darkness will follow. When Zulqarnain went on an expedition, he went towards the people who are in the west. Remember, I told you the name was Fasik. When he reached them, he found them to be huge in numbers, and they were extremely powerful. They used to speak different languages, and they used to work in different trades. And they had different desires. So when he found them so distributed in their worldly affairs, Zulqarnain ordered the darkness to overcome these people. The darkness started coming from all directions until all of these people gathered in one place. And then Zulqarnain ordered the light to enter into them. And then Zulqarnain called them towards oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and told them to worship one God alone. Some of these people accepted Islam and some of them did not accept Islam. For those who did not believe, Zulqarnain ordered the darkness to enter into them. So they were covered in darkness. Their houses were covered in darkness. Their lives were covered in darkness from all directions. And they started moving around in darkness. When they realized that they may die if the darkness stays on them forever, then they said, Ya Zulqarnain, we also want to be among the believers. As we accept our defeat, Then Zulqarnain prepared a massive army from among these people of the West. And he made them all one ummah, and they were not distributed as they were before. Then he asked this massive army from the West to walk with him as light was moving forward and darkness was coming from behind. This time he headed towards an ummah called Havil. In order to get to Havil, Zulqarnain had to go past through a very massive sea body. So he ordered several smaller boats or ships to be made, and the entire army was riding them in a very uniform fashion. If you look from a distance, it may look like they were coming in as a fleet. Then they started traveling through the waters. They passed the sea, they went through the rivers and through streams. Finally, when they reached where they needed to reach, Zulqarnain ordered all boats to be broken. Finally, he reached the people of Havil. He ordered the darkness to surround them and gather them in one place. Then he entered the light into them. Finally, they believed. So this time he now headed towards east, where the nation by the name of Mansak used to live. He did the same to them, that he entered the darkness through which they were gathered in one place, and then he entered light into them, and they too believed. Then finally he went into the direction of Qawil, and he did the similar treatment with Qawil as he did with the previous three, Fasik, Mansik, and Hawil. Finally, he started moving towards Middle Earth, where he ran into Yajuj and Majuj, and humans and jinns. When he reached the point where Yajuj and Majuj are located, he was told that these are some people that look like humans, however they act like animals. They eat grass, they kill animals like animals. Looks like they are predators. They eat everything that they come across, even insects, reptiles, including snake and other venomous beings. Nothing affects them. Anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has produced, they eat it. Nobody dares to go near them. They are massive in number. If they keep increasing in the same manner, they will overcome the entire earth. And nobody will be alive on the face of the earth except for them. Zulqarnain, can you do anything to stop them from coming here? We will pay you for your services, Zulqarnain. And Zulqarnain said, I do not need any money from you. Rather, I need help from you to build this massive thing between you and them. So the whole process that I spoke to you about previously, that Zulqarnain did when he asked for the iron and he asked for the other things to be gathered, and he built this massive wall around them so that they cannot come across. And he put them in an enclosure so they cannot climb over either. And they were pushed back from entering the cities. When he heard about the huge numbers of Yajuj and Majuj, that not a single one of them dies without 1,000 kids behind him. Now that they have been pushed back where they have been pushed back, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them fish during the springtime. They're given food so that they may survive. And when the man and the woman meet, they meet like animals. They have no etiquettes, no mannerism whatsoever. Zulqarnain fully analyzed, understood, and studied these people. And then he came to the conclusion that it is better to put these people away from the rest of the people. After building the enclosure and putting Yajuj and Majuj behind that enclosure, Zulqarnain continued his journey to meet more nations. Inshallah, we'll continue from here next time, and we will see which other nation he met. Till then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.